Hello, 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 and cue me. That's right. I'm hanging out here in the studio, and today we've got some fun live detailing coming your way with a pretty darn cool Jeep over here just next to me. But what would a good detail be without the crew actually doing the job? Because, you know, I can't get my hands dirty. Whatever. I've got a crew over here. I've got all the guys and gals, everybody over here from Sydney to Juan to Levi and Anthony. Join in on the fun, guys. What's going on today on this Jeep?
Hey guys, so I am here today with a very special Jeep. Sorry, Juan. So we have one of the Grandambassadors Jeeps here. So you guys might know him as the Rubicon Diesel on Instagram. Very adventureful. So I have had this Jeep in my shop up in Hidden Springs all morning, kind of doing the main part of the detail, and then I brought it down here to have these guys help me finish it out.
I feel like we're working for free.
Are we working for free? That's okay.
That's okay. It's gonna be good fun. So, Anthony, do you want to introduce whose Jeep this is?
Yeah, so this is Joe. Actually, he can come out here and wave really quick. All right, he doesn't have a mic, so you can just kind of see him in person really quick. Give a quick wave. All right, and we'll send you on your way. So this is Joe's Jeep here, and so Joe was one of our Q1 2021 Grandambassadors, which is part of like what I'd consider probably one of the most competitive crews we've probably ever had in terms of our Grandambassador program. And so his victory was being able to come here today and maybe stop by, you know, down the road at TRC to say hi to the rest of the crew as well. But he brought his Jeep, and he's been, a pretty integral part of the Jeep community, especially with our Grandambassador program. And so it's weird. After he was a Grandambassador, we've had all these other Jeep people, right? that flooded the gates and said, well, we want to be a Grandambassador too. I'm like, oh, this is exciting. We've tapped into a whole community thanks to this one person. And so today we're going to be getting this thing all cleaned up. And so Sid, what are we doing on the Jeep?
What's left?
Yeah, so what we're gonna do, because he does drive it off-road a lot, it gets a lot of dirt and, the red dirt, all kinds of crazy stuff packed up underneath, but he likes to keep it really nice and clean for when he's just driving it around town. So we are going to be completely dressing the underside, so it's all been cleaned out and everything, but because of the life that the Jeep lives, it tends to dry out, and so it will still appear dirty. So we're gonna dress the whole underneath side. Okay. We're gonna use a special technique of blowing it on with air so that we make sure we get in all the nooks and crannies. Yeah. We are gonna start off though with putting on a coating on the windshield. We just got a brand new windshield yesterday, and so we are going to use Clarity Creme and View coating just to kind of help with, again, the life it lives, some impact protection, that kind of stuff. So that's what we're going to start with, just because we need some curing time for that. Okay. We are going to dress the rubber floor mats because, again, lots of dirt. They're clean but dehydrated. And then we are also going to do some kind of touch-up on stuff. We are going to do leather conditioner, the double black leather treatment on all of the leather. The plastics have already been dressed, but we're going to give the leather that extra special treatment. And then we have not touched the windows yet. So the windows are pretty dirty inside and out. We're going to do the windows with True View, and then we just kind of have some touch-up stuff with Dreammaker left. So it's pretty easy. So it's really just kind of putting on those final touches.
And one product that we are using that we don't have yet, but is on the way, is the no rub coating too for all the plastics. And some of the weird touch points that normal dressings don't really work in, but this works amazing. So you guys are going to see that in use as well. So
we're going to be using that right at the end. I kind of use that as a final touch-up. So that is it. So first we are going to get started with the Clarity Creme. So which one of you guys wants to volunteer to do that?
I will do that. I said I would. I got myself a little stool here. So that I can climb up so that you guys can see. If you haven't bought one of these, you need to.
Yes.
They're cheap, they're easy, they're the best $30 you'll ever spend.
Yeah, and the best day all year to buy these is Black Friday.
Where can you get them at?
Like Home Depot or Lowe's.
They have them for like $19.
Harbor Freight, do they sell them or no?
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know if Harbor
Do you trust a Harbor Freight one? I trust Harbor Freight for many things.
I trust the jack stands. This is pretty simple.
I guess I trust their jack stands.
I weigh 206. All right, 212.
All right.
You're safe.
If he falls off that though, he might not be able to get up. So one thing to keep in mind. Okay. So Clarity Creme and what pad? Explain the process that you like using.
So what we do is we always prep the surface with Clarity Creme. This removes any kind of ground in surface contaminants from the glass, and it just gives us a great surface for that coating to adhere to. So you always want to use Clarity Creme first. We have
I broke the cap off the bottle.
We have extras.
So
you're so strong. You've been working out or what?
Yes, I have been swinging a couple hammers and a kettlebell. So pad I'm going to use, because I know you like using a blueberry pad. We could have grabbed like probably 3-inch blueberry and used it. However, my go-to is usually the maroon. I really like the maroon buff and shine pad. But for this one, we're going to use the new CCS HDO in blue.
Nice.
Which should also provide the exact, pretty close to the same cut that the blueberry pad does.
Perfect.
Now again, this glass is new, so we don't need a lot of cut.
Yeah. So that's the beauty of Clarity Creme, is you can use it with any pad, right? You can use it with white, black, orange, whatever color you like. And the stronger the pad, the better it's going to do at cutting off water spots, should you have some. So a lot of times if glass is covered in water spots, I'll even go up to a wool pad. But Clarity Creme is great. It's going to give us a nice finish. So on this, you can pretty much use any one. You can't use a too harsh a pad. So we're just going to be using this to prep the new glass.
If I'm, and this is, you guys are probably wondering, like thinking I'm priming. I kind of am priming, but I'm also kind of loading the pad up, because on these smaller pads, I noticed that they have a tendency to sling a lot more if you just put a couple drops on and go, and they make a bigger mess. So I'm doing this to try and limit the amount of mess.
And then we're using my favorite tool, the Flex PXE80. We call it the Pixie. Love it. So awesome. It's nice to have cordless, especially for this job. It's really nice to have a cordless machine.
Yeah, this makes a quick work for sure.
Yep.
I think the size of this windshield is pretty nice too. Well, Dane, while they're working right now, do we have anybody saying hi?
We've got a ton of people saying hi. Anthony.
Really?
Yeah. Everybody wants to say hi to Sydney because they missed her. So let's go through the whole lineup here while these guys are getting this done.
Levi will just be prepping through. We'll kind of overlay some B-roll there. So
we'll try not to cover what he's doing with the comments, but I got to put him on the screen, so we'll just frame for it. So Jamie here saying early gang. We got Dino popping in saying let's go. Then we got Hans popping in and saying hello TRC and Sydney. Then I've got Dino popping in here saying, I got a P&S sticker. I'm wondering if it can hold itself on outside of glass for a while. I would say yeah.
So I have P&S stickers on the back of my Jeep, and what I do is I just coat over them.
Yeah.
Just put the view coating right over them. It provides the UV protection, and they last great.
Locks it in.
The only ones that I wouldn't say that don't do great with anything is the new 6-year ones.
Oh, okay.
They tend to fade a little bit, but try it. But I've had the double black ones forever. So
that's great.
Just coat right over them.
Hans, you're just going for brownie points now.
Friday?
No, we got Friday Eve here. Friday Eve, rather.
Yeah.
Nice.
And Alex popping in saying hi, wondering how Joe's liking the Mini.
How'd you like the Mini, Joe?
That's great.
So fun. It's so fun. Everybody's always scared to borrow the Mini, and then they always come back and they're like, that was so fun.
That was actually a good
So
time.
fun, yeah. Good time.
And then we got Jimmy Moto popping in saying, hey from Detroit. Welcome, Jimmy.
Nice, Jimmy.
And Poets, as I showed earlier, saying hi, Sydney.
Hi.
And everybody's getting their Friday Eves mixed up. That's tomorrow, but today is tomorrow. Friday Eve, otherwise better known as Wash Wednesday.
Right.
Yeah.
They're going to throw me.
Then we've got, Josh just wants to see some Anthony face close-ups.
You can't get that today. Our cameras aren't good enough for that today.
Definitely no can do.
Dang it. Dang it.
Alex, as he pointed out earlier, Levi understood today's clothing assignment.
I did. I planned it. I even woke up this morning and said, I'm wearing a Wash Wednesday shirt.
Some of us always want to be branded in TRC clothing at all time, or at least our brands. Dane especially.
Yeah.
I've got the P&S hat on just for the job.
Yep, just the hat. Nothing else though.
You know
That's
what?
okay.
I'm growing out of some of my TRC
So
gear.
Levi, really quick. So before we jump into another question, a question for you is: how many times would you say you have to load the pad up on a normal size windshield with Clarity Creme?
It depends. So let me turn this off. It really depends on the windshield, the quality of the windshield. It depends on, if it's a really bad water spotted window, you may go through more product. But this is a brand new piece of glass, and really all we're doing is just cleaning off any of the transfer from
residual
transport
grease
residue,
or anything like that.
Yeah, a new glass is always really temperamental in terms of you clean it and then it doesn't always feel clean, or it just acts funny. So this, we're just kind of trying to reset the surface so that it can handle the coating the best way. So I don't really have to load it up a lot. I think I maybe used 4 tiny drops on this side and 4 tiny drops on this side, and then I've just worked it till it's cleared itself out a little bit, and then we're just wiping it off. So really simple, not barely using any product at all. But I did have a car in my garage the other day where I felt like I used my 15. I had like 5 good pea-sized drops to work just a section this big to get it out. So it just depends on the glass, but this is really clean and easy. So
I wonder if turning on those LEDs would help.
Probably not.
On the inside of the, you don't think so? You don't think that'd be a little bit too bright?
Because you can see better.
Oh yeah, because I don't have enough lights in my face already.
But then again, he might be blind.
Not cleaned the inside of the glass yet. We'll get to that.
Now I got one here, I believe wants to cover the Espanol side of things here.
Yes. Where's the camera? Which camera?
Right next to you.
Right here, there you go.
Ok, para mis amigos que están entonando en el podcast, lo que quiero dejarles saber es que esta crema es específicamente para limpiar los vidrios, como acaba de mencionar Sydney, y como lo que está haciendo ahorita nuestro amigo Levi, en este momento es nomás usar un pad. Ahora, queremos aclarar que en esta ocasión este espejo es nuevo, no necesita no tiene mucho daño. En este caso vamos a estar usando más un pad azul, pero también puede ser un poquito más agresivo con diferentes podemos ser más agresivos para remover como water spots, como lo que son pads de microfibra, de wood pad, como acababa de mencionar Sydney, que ha usado también los pads de wood pad. Si en dado caso miras que el daño es más agresivo, lo único que tienes que hacer es solamente cambiar el pad. Y tan sencillo como eso, este producto lo puedes hacer con diferentes pads, incluso a mano también lo puedes hacer, ¿verdad?
That's right.
Con máquina o a mano.
So Jimmy, I was going to say, if you could get in on this, this is the kind of stuff that we're dealing with. So it's a brand new windshield, I don't know if you can see, but there's some little spots here on the glass that is what is the remnants of adhesive or a sticker or something when they were installing the glass.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get that off. Again, we're just trying to make sure the glass is clean and ready for a coating. So that's one of the big things. Even though it's a brand new windshield, you always have to inspect it just to make sure that there's nothing that's going to get in the way or damage the coating. But you can see these little spots here. They're coming off with polishing, but it's just
what are those
glue.
Those little hash marks right there in the front. Like, what are those little orange markings right there in the front?
Right
what are those? Yeah.
Those are probably just centering.
Just like alignment, like something used to align it.
Probably.
Yeah. Now, for a towel, you like using the FTW for wiping off the Clarity Creme.
I do.
Is it because it's just a low linting style towel by the bike glue, or what? I know the answer. I'm just asking him to relate to you people.
I like it for the bite on glass.
Yeah.
But I also like it because it doesn't lint.
Okay.
And so I don't have to worry compared to like a terry towel or something dealing with that lint. It's still on there.
Still seeing something. Do you need Sydney to come fix it for you?
I probably need a razor blade. That's probably what I need.
I'm here to just crack jokes. I'm not going to get anything done. I'm just going to, halt your guys' stuff.
I'm sure Sydney could get it though. Not without her skills.
I think you're getting it. Yeah, it's getting better.
So everybody's watching you.
The next step here, Sid. So while you're up here, because typically when you're working on vehicles, I'm assuming most of the time you're standing on a stool.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, unless it's a really lower vehicle.
Yeah.
So you're here. You wipe off the product, and are you jumping straight into paint prep from there? Are you doing any other steps besides that?
Nope. So once I wipe off, I go straight into paint prep. So I do it exactly like Levi did. I would have polished that side, polished this side, and then I'll paint prep this side, paint prep that side. So I kind of finish on one side at a time. So we will paint prep, and then it's ready for coating. So Juan, do you want to paint prep?
I sure can.
Cool. There you go. There's the paint prep and a towel. I'm going to grab another towel for our coating.
So you want to explain, kind of, give us a little Spanish, but what you're doing. You're paint prepping after what problem?
So, ahorita lo que vamos a empezar a hacer, vamos a preparar una vez de que nuestro amigo Oliva ya acabó de limpiar y remover las imperfecciones del vidrio. Lo que vamos a hacer es preparar el parabrisas para poder aplicar el cerámico que vamos a continuación. Es el cerámico de View, ¿qué? The ceramic, which one is it? Es el View Inspiration
Views. Yeah, this is part of the inspiration line.
Es el nuevo cerámico que es específicamente para los cristales. So, una vez que ya limpiemos los cristales, Sydney nos va a enseñar cómo aplicarlos y de qué manera aplicarlos, ¿verdad?
Now it's funny when you
normalmente es importante cuando limpias los vidrios, trata de limpiarlos con una microfibra como la de FTW, que es for the windows. Esa toalla te va a ayudar a que no deje nada de pelusa. En esta ocasión no estamos usando con esta, pero no hay problema, pero les recomiendo mucho que usen como la FTW, que es una toalla que va a tener mucha absorbe bastante los líquidos, pero a la misma vez también te va a remover todo, limpiar el parabrisas bien perfectamente sin dejarte ninguna pelusa. Okay?
All
Now,
right.
I was going to say, what's funny is that when you wet that window, right, you can see how flat that actually is because you've polished it, right?
Yep.
And sometimes you can't tell what clean glass looks like. The second you get it wet and you see that it literally just, I mean, I don't know how to describe it.
It's just different, right?
It's just
totally
different.
Yeah.
It looks totally different.
Yep. Oh, let's leave that. Oh, go ahead. Nope, you're right.
Yep. Let me clean the other side.
I was going to apply on this side,
Anthony will explain that in Portuguese.
Oh, in Portuguese, yes.
There are a couple questions for Sydney here as well.
Oh, okay. Shoot.
Hans here asking, does Clarity Creme remove light old wiper blade scratches?
So scratching is kind of a tough one. So it doesn't remove, if the glass has actually been scratched, it's not going to remove that. You're going to need to use a product like cerium oxide or something, which this does not have any cerium oxide in it. Now I will caution, don't use that unless you know exactly what you're doing. So it will remove, I've had it remove some kind of surface scratches, but like on a lot of older windshields where there's been rocks or something stuck in the blades and you can see the scratches across, it's not going to remove those because those are actually like into the glass.
Like
and so,
basically.
and anytime you use a product like cerium oxide that's actually going to remove some of the glass structure, you run the risk of making the glass hazy, which can be a major safety issue. And it's just kind of dangerous. So you want to know what you're doing. So when I've used that product before, I've used it a couple times and I always let my customers know, now we're going to try this, but you need to have the intention of replacing this windshield. You know what I mean? And so, you have to kind of it has to be your last ditch effort.
Gotcha.
But otherwise, let the glass professionals deal with the scratches. That is just an area that I don't recommend detailers going into.
Sydney, I'm glad you brought that up, they brought that up and you answered that question because as you know, on the TikTok that we have, I had a lot of people actually in Spanish asking me that question.
Yeah.
Can you remove scratches? Can you remove this? And obviously, you just answered it. So, para mis amigos que hablan español y que nos siguen en los diferentes canales, digamos en el canal de The Right Company en español y también en los foros como lo que tenemos de TikTok, sí. Pues básicamente es importante saber de que este producto te va a ayudar a remover algunas imperfecciones como lo que son las manchas de agua que son muy duras o algunos rayones superficiales, pero digamos si estamos hablando de esos rayones que son que están hechos con los parabrisas y que están ya muy ingrenados adentro del parabrisas, no te lo va a arreglar porque obviamente estamos hablando de la superficie que es cristal, no, okay? So, muchísimas gracias. Thank you, Sydney. So,
all right,
continuamos.
awesome. So now we're at the point that we can put the coating on the windshield. So this is a really easy process that anybody can do as long as you have the steps down right. So we are going to be using the Pearl Puck applicator and then we just have the Inspiration View coating. So we are just going to load the applicator up. I use a little bit more the first time just to kind of get, make sure we have plenty on there. And then I always start and I use the rear view mirror kind of as a guide for my half. So I do half the windshield at a time. The reason we're starting with the windshield is because we need about 40 minutes between coats, and you always want to do 2 coats. So the first coat is kind of your base, so it's not leaving a ton of product behind, but we need a base for that second layer. Similar to paint, but it's even more important on the glass. Okay. So I start, and obviously the application of this, I mean, you can do whatever is comfortable for you. I'm just showing you what I do. So I start in a diagonal, laying that wet line, just so it's leaving the majority of the product in the middle, and then I draw a box down the middle right at the rear view mirror, and then I just go across like this. Now what I have found is I don't apply it up and down. There's always like those old wives' tales out there, but I do kind of feel like maybe it's true with the windshield wipers. If you apply it vertically, that it can cause some very minuscule change, and it can cause some chatter, which we're going to talk about chatter in a little bit, but so I like to just go side to side. And then all you need for this is just one towel. I like to use a 365, and what you're going to do is you're going to remove it in the same pattern. So I always start about 50% overlay over my middle line, and you only need about, and you're going to see it rainbow. I don't know if you guys can see that. This product really rainbows. And the nice thing about View is you have a pretty big window of when your wipe off is. It's not a really sensitive product to the wipe off. So you can do, 30 seconds to, 45, a minute, and it comes off really nice and easy. And then I just flip it and kind of go over that, insurance wipe, make sure you got all the product off. And you can get down and check for high spots. The high spots, I always check the corners. Jeeps aren't bad, but those ones with like the big cowlings, you can really get a lot of product stuck down in there. So you just want to make sure it tends to push down in the corners a lot. So we're super easy, and this is a great product because you can see if you left any behind. Yeah. It's really, there's no guesswork there. So I just do one half, do the other half, and then we're waiting 45 minutes till the next coat. Simple. So when we come back for the second coat, I'll explain a little bit more how we finish it out. But I'm going to let somebody else do the other side. And then we are good to go.
Yeah. Ready for it. So picked up the check, homie.
Actually, this would be a good time. So everything that she said, right? Regurgitate that in Spanish while you're applying it. Can you do that?
Exacto. So, básicamente lo que vamos a estar usando va a ser Inspiración View. Es el nuevo producto de P&S para los vidrios. Ella nos comentaba que a ella le gusta más aplicarlo un poco así, de esta manera, saturarlo. Y una de las maneras que ella usa para aplicar el producto es haciéndolo con una línea de arriba para abajo. So, lo que hace es poner todo el producto ahí en medio y después de ahí hacer el cuadro, encuadrarlo y luego empezar a hacer las líneas rectas. Pero muchas veces todos tenemos la costumbre con este tema de los cerámicos que todos queremos empezar a hacerlo una línea para arriba y una línea a los lados. So, en esta ocasión lo que vamos a hacer exactamente lo que nos dijo ella, que es específicamente nomás poner unas líneas rectas y no aplicarlo de este lado. La razón es porque dice que muchas veces como el viento va para este lado, so right, the wind, right? Yeah. So the reason why you do this is for the wind.
So that when the windshield wipers go up, if it's applied vertically, you could get chatter.
Okay,
because of the way the coating is, so I just do it that way to make sure there's no chatter.
Que por sentido común, no es algo científico, pero por sentido común dice que los parabrisas están yendo verticalmente, eso lo que quiere es que no se vayan a dañar si lo pones de este lado, que se vayan a remover mucho más fácil. So, es mejor de esta manera. Lo único que tienes que hacer es esperar que se cumpla lo que es el ¿cómo se llama? El arco iris. Una vez que mires el arco iris, agarras una toalla que es a 365. La única forma como tienes que hacer es en medio. Agarras como a 50% afuera, 50% adentro y empiezas a removerlo.
Now, I notoriously dislike glass coatings in general, mostly for the reason you just discussed, the chatter.
Yeah.
That's the first time I've ever seen it applied that way. Mm-hmm. I will say, though, installing View is one of my favorite glass coatings to install.
Yeah.
Because it's so simple, so easy. It doesn't take any time, and it's an easy upsell for your customers.
Well,
Look at me, I'm
I feel like the biggest, one of the biggest keys in a glass coating is the wiper blades.
Yeah.
So one, if the wiper blades are super worn out, you're going to get some chatter. But
Yeah.
two, I always, and we'll do this before we're done, but I always clean the wiper blades with paint prep, and then I rehydrate them with bead maker.
Yeah,
So
that's
I
a
really
smart
don't
idea.
have any issues with chatter at all, but I think that that's a pretty key step.
Well, and I think a lot of customers, usually their wiper blades are already due
Yeah.
for replacement.
Yeah.
And then they go, oh yeah, throw the coating on because that would be nice to help with
Right.
the fact that my wiper blades don't
Right.
really work.
Yes, and I do always recommend people go get new wipers.
And that's what I do
And
too.
you guys know me, I get new cars a lot, right? I mean, I trade them in. If the battery dies, we're out, right? We get a new car. But I had my Durango long enough that I had to buy new wiper blades, and I did not know what I was missing.
Yeah.
Like the ones that come on them new are trash, and I
Yeah.
had no idea. And when I got those new wiper blades, I bought Bosch ones,
Yeah.
and I was like, this is a whole different world.
Levi can tell you a whole.
All about-
Levi
all
can
about
tell you
high-end wiper
the
blade life.
high-end wiper blade life and
know.
orange Rain X on a
didn't
coated
know.
windshield. It basically cleans itself, literally.
That's the way to go.
I didn't know what I
I
was
like
missing.
going to Costco, getting those Goodyear blades.
Is that what you
great,
get?
Great deal.
I'm a Bosch guy.
I get the Bosch. Oh.
And
I'm
then
a Bosch guy.
orange Rain-X. Always
Yeah.
gotta fill that washer fluid.
Yeah.
One, adds protection. Two, it's a de-icer, so you don't even have to scrape your windows anymore. You just hit those in the morning. with the
Yeah,
frost.
I'll just never do that, Levi. I'm just not a windshield wiper fluid kind of guy. It exists in my vehicles.
Right. Yeah.
For some reason, I do
So
not
the light
know.
goes off. That's the only reason.
What's
The
that?
reason
I
so the
have
light
the-
goes off.
so
That's
the
the only
light-
reason
yeah.
I keep it in mind.
Well, it's really, we joke about this, but I always notice that Anthony's glasses are always very filthy.
Yeah, they are.
Because he touches
Oftentimes.
them and he just doesn't clean them. Where I always have to have my glasses very clean all the time.
Yeah.
And I think that's reflects in the glass
Probably.
when we're driving our vehicles. I can't abide dust, but I'm okay with spraying the glass and just washing it so I can see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where Anthony just doesn't want to turn the wipers on. He's okay with the dust. Well,
Because
he doesn't want to scratch it.
It's an age thing, right? Once I hit 40, talk to me then. But
That's
I
probably
think
what's
in the
gonna happen,
meantime,
yeah.
I'm okay with it.
funny.
So,
That's funny.
really quick, right? How would you guys, all three of you, right, upsell a glass coating such as this
Yeah.
to your customer? What do you tell them? Like, what do you say?
So for me, it's really easy because I live up in the foothills, right? So we have, you know, a lot of pitting in the glass. That's a very
from
common
all the
thing
sand
up there.
and gravel
so
and stuff.
for me, you know, I feel like there's a certain level of impact protection. I mean, it's not going to protect against rocks and things like that, but definitely against the sand pits.
Yeah.
All of the cars that I have, which I have a lot now that have the windshield coating, it has really diminished that sand blasting effect. And then obviously we have all 4 seasons here. We have snow, rain, ice, all the things, right? And so with getting ice off, snow off, it makes it super easy for it to come off, really easy to clean. It improves the clarity, it reduces the starring at night. So all of my customers that have it on really love it. So, and all of us that live up in the foothills have the same issues. So as soon as I tell them everything of the benefits of what we get up there, everybody wants one. I feel like now, even those customers that have them and say it broke for one reason or another, you know, huge boulder hit it or whatever, they always say, I want the coating back on, and they want to come in right when it's new. So, you know, I definitely think there's a benefit that I see that obviously I get excited about it. But what I'm starting to see now that View has been out for 2 years, that my customers actually call and want it either on their new car or a replacement. And so that to me is a really awesome thing that they notice it and they have seen the value in it and want it again. So I think that's great.
There you go. Juan?
Well, how to upsell something, it really all depends on how you use it. Because if you don't use the product, if you're just trying to sell the product, you're never gonna be able to, sell it. So you really need to be a believer of whatever you're using. So what that means is using it on your own, inspecting, experiencing, you know, all the benefits. How do you sell something if you don't know the benefits of it and if you don't enjoy the benefits? So I think if I'm talking to like detailers or someone that is actually, you know, does selling or something upsell for customers, you want to experience, you know, the process. So like she said, you know, and in my shop they do come in and they ask me, and I ask them if they want to do a windshield coating, and one of the biggest questions, like, have you heard of window coatings? And if they say yes or they say no, then I go from there. And the nice thing about it is that we have to explain the benefits. And one of the benefits that I actually have seen myself on glass coatings is the clarity.
Yeah.
So you see a lot more clearly on the glass coating. Yeah. I don't know why or how. I mean, I'm not a scientist guy, but I just noticed that. And another thing is the easiest way is to clean your windshield. I mean, it gets so easy when you live like in Idaho, where we have trees up and stuff like that. It's a lot easier to remove all of that stuff too. It's a lot easier, like you said, in the winter time. All you have to do is just crank up the heater, and it actually it melts a little bit faster. So it's actually easier to remove all the ice out of your windshield. I mean, it's just a fantastic thing. You know, if you tell your customers all those benefits, I mean, you're really not selling them something. You're actually helping them find a benefit for the vehicle.
Yeah. So what I used to do was I had a square marked out on my loaners that was coated.
Oh, that's a good idea.
On the car, in multiple spots on the vehicle, and then multiple spots on the glass. And people would borrow one of my loaners on a rainy day, and they would go, it's weird how nothing stays on this one little circle on the glass. It was perfect, but we were hitting the wipers and you could see where, and I go, oh, that's because that's glass coating. And then later I added little stickers for what that was so people knew, and just like ask for it. You know, and I would get customers on a rainy day, especially, you know, coming up here in the next couple weeks, we're going to have a lot of rain. It was easy because they go, whatever you put on your loaner, I want on my windshield. How much is it? And that was really nice. The other thing I told people was if you travel a lot, if you use your car for road trips a lot, it helps with bugs in the summertime. It's crazy because we'll all hit those bugs. Your windshield gets hit. You do hit your windshield washer sprayer to clean the bugs off, because maybe you got a big one that hit the center. If your windshield's not coated, it helps cleaning all that stuff off. Or if you stop to get gas and you clean your windshield, it's going to be much easier to clean all those bugs off. And that's what I tell folks. And then, I mean, we saw it, East Coast Adventure, or, you know, we're at our G-Technics Serum Summit. We hit a rainstorm on a rental car that wasn't coated glass, and we were in hurricane.
That was to say, that wasn't a rainstorm, that was a monsoon.
It was, and we couldn't see out the window. And Dane, you had those wipers on so fast, and you were like, we can't.
I think we were ready to burn out the motor on those things.
We were we were scared, and we were like, we got to get to Red's detail shop. We're gonna say hi to him, visit him, but we had an ulterior motive. We're gonna polish the glass. We're gonna add a coating on there and see if he's got any, and we're gonna throw it on there because we're not gonna drive the next 5 days.
No way.
With this, because we couldn't even see. And as soon as we left, boom, there you go. So you guys could watch that on the Serum Summit. We literally took a video of that, and you could watch that going.
That
and
was intense.
It really makes a big difference.
I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people actually wondering, because he just mentioned that about just applying coating and go on your way. How soon after you apply the coating you can actually drive away or use?
Oh, you can drive away right away. You just have to know that there's obviously a cure time involved, and so you know it's probably totally cured within 24 hours. But you're going to see, well, you might not see because we might not get it on the live, but we always finish with bead maker. And so bead maker does its job in protecting the coating while the coating cures. So you can drive away right away. That's no problem at all. So definitely we always finish with bead maker, and like I said, we put it on the windshield wipers as well. So, and then you just maintain the coating with the bead maker. I recommend reapplying the coating about once a year, and only one coat, just for kind of optimal performance. I've had it last on my Durango before I got rid of it. It was 18 months and it was still fine, but that was also perfectly maintained with bead maker, out of fairness. So reapply once a year, super easy. And then the other thing I wanted to mention was, because somebody asked about the scratches earlier with Clarity Creme. So in the same way that coating on paint becomes a sacrificial layer, it kind of does that on the windshield too, right? So if you're rock crawling and getting lots of sand and dirt thrown at you, and you're using your windshield wipers to clear your windshield, it's actually going to create a little bit of a barrier and keep those, you know, that sand from scratching your extra windshield. You might scratch the coating, but that we can easily take off and reapply. So that's just another little benefit, which, you know, will be an advantage on this one in particular, just because that's exactly what he does.
There you go. So what are we going to do next?
Cool. So next, Anthony, you're up on this one.
Oh,
so next we are going to do, and we're going to do this because it could create some aerosolized dressing, right? So we are going to apply dressing with a spray gun. So let's grab it back here. So today we are going to be using one of my very favorite dressings, which is Odyssey.
Yes.
So Odyssey is in the Chemtrol line, and you know, dressings are a hot topic right now, right?
Yeah, they are.
So we have Odyssey. It's in stock. It's good to go. So my favorite way to apply this, and this is such a great example for this, because we are going to dress the undercarriage and all of kind of the components, and we're going to dress these ginormous tires.
Heck yeah.
So if you notice, the tires are super clean, but they still have some of that browning, and that's just because, one, it's kind of it's called blooming, and it's kind of an effect of these type of tires. It's very common. So, but what's nice about spraying it on is you get it in all those nooks and crannies and those, you know, the deep tread. So we are going to spray it on with this. We're not going to get a ton in the air, but I just want to do it at this point, so then in case we do. And so this is just using, obviously, just an air compressor. And you are just going to act like you're spray painting. So stand back a little bit, and we are going to get it on the wheels and stuff, but it's super easy to clean up, so don't worry. Now, I know that there's going to be some questions come up, so let's just address this now.
Okay, there's going to be a lot of questions.
There's going to be some questions about this. There's going to be those out there that say, why would you put dressing on an undercarriage when it's just going to drive in the dirt, it's going to attract the dirt and all that kind of stuff. That is true. That is a fact. It is going to attract it. However, this dressing does self-level. It tends to not be as greasy, and it doesn't stay on the surface as much. So this is an ideal dressing for this type of application. The other thing is, like I mentioned in the beginning, Joe, the owner, likes for it to look nice when it's at home, right? So this is going to give it that nice appearance right now. It's also, because of the type of dirt, it does pull all the hydration out of all these components, out of all the plastic underneath, and it makes it look dirty. So even though, yes, it will attract dirt later, it's also, because those components are hydrated, they're going to be easier to clean the next time. So there is a huge benefit to this, and so just wanted to address that because I know people are going to ask about it. So go to town.
Super fun. While I'm doing
this part,
because people are going to ask, where do you get the gun at? Where do you get the gun?
So the gun is the I believe it was the old OptiGun, right?
Yeah. So
OptiGun. I know now Rugged Restore uses the same gun. Kevin Davis with Rugged Restore, he uses it to spray on bed liner.
But you can buy the gun from him.
Yep, you can totally buy the gun from him. So it's an awesome gun. The reason that I use this gun, so you can absolutely use a gravity feed from like Harbor Freight or something. I don't think you get quite as good of results. I like the how you can dial this one in and the pressure and everything.
It's very simple.
It's very simple, but what I love is it's direct to bottle. So that's my favorite part. I'm not transferring it into another container and dealing with seals and all that kind of stuff. So this gun is probably, gosh, I don't know, 6 years old. I mean, I've had it forever, and I've never done any maintenance to it. I've used various different products through it, so it's really an awesome gun.
I will say, you can't do this with every dressing.
Right, yeah.
Because
you know, some people out there are going to look at this and immediately go, oh, I'm going to do that with the dressing I have at home.
So there are certain dressings that use most dressings are all silicone based. But there are some that have an aerosol silicone or what is it? Basically,
it's an airborne
silicone. So an airborne silicone dressing, you cannot use this on. So because it'll just create an even bigger mess in your shop. So a product like Odyssey, like Optimum Tire Gel, you could probably get away with dynamic.
It did work with dynamic, we just don't.
I wouldn't do I wouldn't do Shynol with it. Shynol's more of that air ready. So, but products like that, especially water-based ones like this, Odyssey's perfect for this type of situation. And if you're in a shop, if you're not doing this in your business, and you've got multiple employees, you're losing money, because this is the easiest, fastest way to dress and get around the car quick and easy. And if you notice, Anthony has sprayed that entire tire. And Joe, is that a 35 or a 37?
37.
It's a 37-inch tire, and he's barely used even a line out of that thing.
I'm doing these small spurts, but the thing is the output, just like anything else that's going to be able that's going to aerate something, right? Or atomize it. It's going to activate it faster, right? And it's also going to disperse it more evenly, and it's also just going to have a better coverage with each spray. So the difference between this and, let's just say, like a trigger trigger sprayer. A trigger sprayer is so concentrated in that area that you're firing at, right? That you're hoping that you have enough coverage, right? Yeah. Or you have to spread it in. This, it's kind of like it's already spreading it for you. It's just a matter of how much product you want to apply at that point, right? And so even on a couple of these areas, right, you start to build up pretty fast. And you can obviously dial this back to where it's not putting out as much
Which
product.
is what we did on this air compressor here, was we actually turned the air pressure down on the gun.
So,
on the line,
so my next question, Sid, is what are we doing with this brush?
So then, you know, some areas it's going to lay down heavier, and you guys can see it starting to drip. That's no big deal. This is way easier to deal with than using a trigger sprayer. So I always use a dedicated tire brush for tire dressing just to smooth it out. So super easy. We're just going to run it along the tire and get those drips, and then the rest of the way it's going to self-level.
Kind of like
so super easy.
The excess, no?
Yeah. It's absorbing the excess, but it's also spreading it in.
So in about 20 minutes, we're going to see this tire is going to totally settle on its own, and it's going to look amazing. So I usually do that right after. I don't let the drips keep dripping. So I'll spray it and then go around and kind of catch those drips with the tire brush. It couldn't be easier. Okay. So Anthony, I'm going to have you, so you already sprayed up underneath here. That's perfect. And then we're going to skip these. We're going to do these by hand.
Okay.
And so if you guys can see, these are clean, but they're super dry. So this just turns them all nice and black. So
this would be worth, awesome. Do you have an iPhone over here? Do you have a dedicated camera? So you'll probably want to come see this here.
Yeah, because it's really faded and...
Glenn wants to see this because she'll be putting this on her Jeep, right?
Oh, nice.
Because, you know, she's getting ideas right now. So Jimmy's getting in there just to kind of show off, again, all that dryness, right? And so really, I mean, that's just a combination of just weathering. It's from it's from daily driving. I mean, the stock coating or the paint that they put on there, and even the undercoating from factory in a lot of cases, it'll wear off pretty fast. And especially the fender liners too, right? The fender liners are really finicky because see how exposed these fender liners are in comparison to like a car's fender liners, right? You have it's direct sunlight almost all the time, and so those are going to fade a lot faster than something on a passenger car.
And we just ended our winter, even though it's snowing here in Boise today.
We thought we ended.
We just ended our winter, and so not only has it been exposed to everything you just said, but also we have salt in our ice melt in our
magnesium chloride.
Yes, magnesium chloride. So that does a number on it as well. So. You can
fire away. Okay.
Yeah, fire away.
All right. So another thing, right? What if I go like this, and I've gotten some on the paint?
Yeah, no big deal. It wipes off super easy.
Okay. All right. I'm safe. All right.
Yep. Wipes off super easy. And that's why I always dress the tires kind of mid-detail for that reason, because then I don't want to do it before I clean the windows. I don't want to do it before I clean the paint. And then that way, when I go around for that final wipe, I'm going to catch any and all of that. So.
This stuff smells nice too. Is it
smells really good? Yeah, like a clean cotton.
I can smell it from over here, but it's a pleasant smell.
Yes, it's a very nice smell. And Odyssey can be diluted as well. We are using it full strength just because I like it full strength, but it can absolutely be diluted.
Okay. Now, for our friend Ricardo, he wants to know what kind of spray gun that is. Probably the HVLP gun.
So it's a gun that we got originally from Optimum. Current supplier of that gun, it's an Italian brand, but the company that sells it here in the U.S. is Rugged Restore, which is Kevin Davis of Detailer's Helper. You can go to his website, Rugged Restore, and you can buy that gun from him. He uses it, that's his undercoating gun, or bedliner gun, basically. So you can mix up his bedliner and put it in there. But what we like is we're just using it with a water-based, non-airborne dressing.
And Hans wanted to know if you could use motor.
We got a little crazy on this one.
Hans, I don't know. I've never tried shooting motor plast out of there. So.
No, para la gente que habla español, lo que nos estaba comentando ahorita nuestra amiga Sydney, con esa pistola, esa pistola lo que hace va a aventar el químico ahí, pero no lo va a dejar con mucha neblina, como lo que podrías usar con un sprayador de pintura. Pero también una de las cosas es de que, como nos comentaba nuestro amigo Levi, que muchas veces también esta pistola la puedes conseguir con nuestro de Detailer Shopper, pero la compañía se llama
Rugged Restore.
Rugged Restore. Esta pistola la puedes conseguir con ellos. Si no sabes de dónde, yo creo que muy pronto vamos a estar poniendo el link también de dónde lo puedes conseguir. Pero puedes chequear. Vamos a hacer el otro lado. No vamos también a hacer la llanta, ¿no? We're going to do the tire too on this side, or you guys already done it?
Nope, you're good to go. Yep, just stand a little bit back, and that helps with the, if you let it, yeah.
So, muchas veces en este producto, como puedes ver, no está gastando, ya hicieron todo un lado y no usaron nada de producto, pero en este producto es en base a agua. So, este producto es base a agua. So, muchas de las veces cuando usas un solvente, se te pueden descomponer las partículas de plástico que tiene allí. So, es muy importante que no uses uno que sea solvente, que sea más que nada de silicona, que sea más como nada en base a agua.
So Joshua Kent has a great question, wanting to know, it looks like you use more product, do you worry about product sling? So no, Joshua, you don't use more product, you actually use less product.
Do this, right?
We're using this product straight right now out of the gun, and technically you can dilute it 1-to-1 if you want. The other thing we're doing to limit sling is the fact that Sydney's taking that brush and going around and leveling out that tire. She's leveling out the product to make sure that it doesn't sling. Now this product is going to be absorbed by the tires because of that, and this allows it to sit.
Perfect.
So what we're going to be doing is letting the product sit on the tires, dwell on the tires. You can see right there Juan's leveling it all out. There's almost no chance of sling after that. Now, if you're worried about it, you're more than welcome to go around, hit it with a microfiber towel after that. But really, the biggest problem that a lot of people have with sling is they freshly apply it and then they leave. So the product hasn't had a chance to actually bond with the rubber that it needs to. It hasn't been allowed to penetrate. So letting the product sit, letting it penetrate, letting it bond helps break down that amount. The fact that we're leveling it, doing all that, it's going to make it so you don't have to worry about sling.
Peace of mind.
Yeah.
And una de las cosas que quisiera mencionar con este cepillo, como puedes mirar aquí, ya una vez que lo hicimos, lo aplicamos, lo más importante es agarrar el cepillo. Obviamente te va a dejar estas partículas de agua aquí, pero cuando regreses, ella mencionaba también, Sydney mencionaba que una vez que regrese la segunda pasada, le puedes volver a seguir dando para que todo el producto no se sature en un solo lugar. ¿Okay?
All right, and I'll just dress the bumper since I'm right back here. So we're going to dress the bumper and the whole underneath side here, and then this we will end up wiping out with a microfiber. So here we're just taking advantage of the UV protection and turning everything nice and black. So I'm going to stand back for this part, and this again just trying to fill in kind of those cracks and crevices. All right, we'll just let all that self-level underneath there. Cool. Did you want me to do the last tire?
Yeah.
Cool.
Please.
All right. It's getting a little.
You can see it in the air a little bit.
Yeah, we turned the fan on, no worries.
Yeah.
All right.
But again, this is a good reason, like Sydney said. This is a step you can do prior to making sure you work on the exterior of the vehicle. So I always did it before I started polishing, before I did any of the outside stuff, protection stuff. I always got the vehicle dressed because it was much easier, because then you could just wipe off whatever you needed, any excess that was left over. Plus, if you had all your plastics dressed and tires dressed, if you had any product sling, much easier to remove when there's less product sling on the vehicle. So it's like almost like a little protective barrier. So Anthony, you were supposed to do these axles. Got Sydney over here doing them. I thought that was your job.
I know. So I started noticing that this does in fact create some dust, right?
Well, dust. You mean like
not dust,
particulates
particulates in the air, right?
Haze, you can smell it.
So as much as I kind of saw it from a distance, and I said, well, you know, it might be something, right? Where, you know, get everybody in there. Jimmy's gonna have to clean off his camera a little bit, but you know, I'm like, you gave me crap about my glasses already, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna go in there, gonna have even dirtier glasses.
Yeah.
No, I mean, honestly, this has turned out really good. But the front bumper is what I was wanting to know. Would you dress this front bumper, or would you do something else for this?
I would probably do this by hand.
Okay.
Just to make sure that it, I mean, you certainly could, like, I'll show you. You could lay down like a light mist and then go back over by hand.
And could you brush that in from there too? Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Brush it in, use an
Fronts
applicator
of those
sponge.
fenders as well.
So in my shop, when I sprayed and would dress like this, I would actually spray my applicator.
Yeah.
While I had my gun, I'd just pick up my applicator, spray it,
Yep.
and I'd hit the spots that I needed to touch up with an applicator.
It's funny because you showed me that no rub coating, right, could also be thrown on an exterior.
Correct.
And it does look, I mean, you don't want to put it on everybody's exterior, but it was something that looked
It's pretty crazy.
freakishly good. For what it was. And so,
and I actually used the no rub before I came here. So on all this, it was all no rub.
So
if you think about like normally these are all, they end up looking dirty. So this is so easy. You just go through and you're using this aerosol spray to touch all of those up and give them color. So
this a big good talking point on this, right, is a honeycomb mesh, right?
Yeah.
So when it comes to honeycomb mesh materials on many cars, there's
all the grills now, right? They're so crazy.
Thousands of vehicles out there
all the grills I've loved before.
They have honeycomb mesh, right? They are very hard to keep looking good.
Yeah.
Always, right?
Right.
They could be a brand new car, and after a week or two, that dirt, you just can't get it out of there. You could pressure wash it, you could brush it,
well, and
sometimes
fade,
you can't.
Right? They fade so fast. Yeah.
And I feel like the UV coating maybe from the factory on that is already not the best to begin with.
Right.
So having those dressed is always important, but a lot of people don't want to spray a bunch of dressing all over that. They don't know how to get a good even finish, and this makes a lot more sense. And so go and give us another example of how you would apply it, just kind of putting it on.
So just spray it on, and I do this on the inside and the outside. Usually before I apply the dressing on the inside, I'll go where I know that there's like the nooks and crannies. A lot of times the vents. You can clean the vents till forever, and they just don't look clean. So I'll spray it inside the vents. It gives them nice, quick finish. This would be good for like this, because see how I can get in those nooks and crannies without knowing that I'm not spraying anything on the cord or cable.
What I like about this is it dries. The product actually dries.
It
so
totally
it doesn't leave a
you don't
wet,
have to wipe this one.
Yeah, and it doesn't leave like a wet, slimy film. That's the problem that a lot of people think is they go, oh my gosh, it's going to leave this greasy film. It doesn't do that.
And it doesn't. And even when you get overspray, it literally, it wipes right off the paint. It's so easy. So I use this, and on these I used it, and for anybody who's cleaned a Jeep, you know how hard these are to get turn black. So I walk around literally and I spray all the little nooks and crannies
Now I've got a pretty good question over here if you guys have a moment.
Yes, Dane.
Just because, it's more of a comment. Acid here making a comment where it's a fair point he's asking, where there's no way overspray isn't going everywhere.
No, it is going everywhere.
No, it totally is. No, it totally is. So, and obviously on this Jeep particularly, I'm using way more than I do on a normal car, right? So when I'm just dressing the 4 tires and a quick fender well, it's not getting that much overspray. This one, we just used that for a really long time, so it has put a lot in. But the beauty of it is it's super easy to wipe off. That's why I do it far before the end of the detail, and it's absolutely not going to hurt the paint. So it does get, and really, like, I don't see any of it on the paint right now, but it's so easy to wipe off that when we go through and do our final wipe off, it's all going to clean
and
right
that's
up.
the main reason I wanted to address it, is because I think somebody who's familiar with older, dressings and stuff may be afraid of like, oh, this cleanup job's going to suck.
No,
this isn't
not at
like
all.
that.
Yeah, not at all.
So there's a little bit on here, but this is the main area we were spraying, so you can see it on there. It's very light, but it wipes off very simply, and we still have products that we need to finish and wipe the car down with, so it's not going to hurt anything.
Right, and that is why we do this before we've done the glass, which we're going to do next.
I want to say something in here is that he probably is like me, like using what we used to use is the spray gun to do, and that actually brings a lot more overspray. I have noticed that right now with this gun right here that we actually spray a lot, and we did spray a lot, but we didn't use a lot of chemical. But at the same time, we didn't made a lot of debris with this one. Now, if you are spraying with the spray gun that you buy at Harbor Freight, the same amount of product that we use, the same amount of area that we covered, it will be more overspray. And that's definitely true. This can actually surprise me.
For sure. The other thing that's great about Odyssey on a vehicle like this is obviously a lot of guys aren't going to want those super shiny tires, and Odyssey just has a really black appearance, so it makes them look really rich and black and not super shiny. And like we mentioned before, this is super easy. We can go back over with a microfiber and just, you know, do a quick wipe and knock down some of that shine, and it's perfect. And this is a really long-lasting dressing also. I feel like I get several days out of it. So really, really nice dressing.
But because it's water based, it actually just leaves the shine, not it doesn't start attracting more dirt like the other solvents.
Well, and I think a lot of folks, and especially those that maybe are seeing this for the first time and asking these questions, it's all about having a standard operating procedure. So you're never redoing spots that you've already done. And so like we said, this is something that you would do prior to working on the exterior of the vehicle. Get everything dressed because of the fact that you are going to create some overspray. You are going to create some, you know, you might have some blowback, or you might hit a spot and you're not paying attention and you're going, oh, I hit the paint. This is totally safe. It's not going to hurt anything. It's water-based. It wipes right off. And if we're getting in and, okay, we still got to polish and we still got to add protection, well, we're probably going to be wiping the car down anyway with paint prep or surface paint coat. You know, we're going to do something to the paint prior to this. So that's when you wipe it all off. We still haven't done the windows. We're going to be doing the windows next, all that stuff. Now, if you've detailed the vehicle, and I've had a guy do this to me, comes back and says there's not enough dressing on it, and they start taking the dressing bottle of the old school blue tire dressing, the hexane-based heavy solvent, and they've walked around and they've made one spray right here, and the whole car's coated in silicone, and I can't get it off. Had a guy do that to me once, pissed me off to no end. Because he grabbed it and just started spraying. He was spraying the glass on the mirrors, and he was mostly doing it because he was being a jerk. But
oh my God.
If you do it then it's a problem. Because the car's done, you've got to go back over and do everything. But if you're doing it in the right process and you're understanding a standard operating procedure, and if you're wondering where one is, you can literally type in Google Levi Gates SOP, standard operating procedure on how to detail a car. It'll come up. There's a link. We have it on the Rag Company page. You can follow my directions on how you would do this, and it'll tell you exactly how to do all that kind of stuff. So that's the number one thing. All right.
Cool. All right.
We got to do glass
next. Let's do glass. So we're going to do inside and outside. So Levi, do you want to do the inside?
Yeah. So Sydney showed me this technique, and I have to say that this is the way I've been doing glass now for, oh gosh, probably 4 months now, and I'm in love with it.
Oh yeah.
And it's something that, you know, even after doing this for 25 years, it's something new for me to do in a way that I haven't. It's caused my brain to go into overdrive. You know, turn around the camera there. So it's made my brain go into overdrive in ideas on how I can make this work for a lot of different detailers. So basically taking the Pearl applicator sponge. Now, I've been using the Pearl Weaves for glass. I love the Pearl Weaves at home. I use a Pearl applicator and a purple Pearl towel. But you can do this with the FTW and this. So we're just taking True View glass, ready to use.
And we call this the Spindler method at P&S because it was Mark Spindler, who was the original training director for P&S, is the one that showed Keith, which then Keith showed me. So we call this the Spindler method.
All right.
Yeah, very cool.
So basically you're just going to load up your applicator with the glass cleaner. And then you can do this where you can still spray some on the glass, but you're not going to be using a lot of it. So this applicator is loaded, and you can literally do like what I've always trained, doing the box method. And what I like is, for some reason, this applicator stays cleaner on dirty windows. I don't know what it is. But
and I'll use the same applicator like 3-4 cars. Which is so nice. You know, you used to go through like 5 glass towels per car. Now it's 1 towel, 1 applicator, and that applicator I use on a couple cars.
And you can flip it. You can do all kinds of stuff.
It's great. It's awesome. And the nice thing about the applicator is it grabs all of the dog nose prints and the kids' fingerprints, and then you're not getting all of that debris in your towel, which is your final wipe that tends to smear it, right?
Yeah.
That's where the smears come through.
Yeah.
So all of your debris, even though you're still cleaning with that, and that might have some of those dog snot in there, it doesn't matter because you're still wiping with a super clean towel.
You're doing
at
your
the
final
end.
wipe with this.
So, I mean, it's like literally no streaks.
Well, and this has been, it's fun because it saves me so much time, because once it's loaded too, I may not need to get my glass wet again.
Yeah.
I can literally just use my applicator again to get it.
And not that glass cleaner is one that we typically try to save money on because you go through so little of it anyway. It does actually, it still saves you.
Well, and here's though also, yes, it makes me save glass cleaner because I burn through a lot of it.
Yeah.
The one thing that I noticed, the biggest thing, Anthony, when you dress your dashboard, what's something that bothers you when you got to do the glass?
The overspray onto my window,
Right. So all you got to do is spray your applicator before you get in.
Right.
And then you literally just take this to the front windshield.
Well,
and you have no liquid going on the dashboard.
And the other nice thing is when you're in the windshield, you shove that applicator down to get along the edge, and then you don't have a rag that's removing any protection that you've already put up there, and you don't have that like, okay, which one's the last to smear, right? Because that goes down in there. This side's dry, so I usually always start with the windshield just because then I know this side's dry, and then you're not harming that. You're getting all the way down in there, and you're not back wiping and all of that. So I love that for the windshield.
No, and that's my biggest thing is being able to get into all those spots. Yep. And what I like too is, like I said, I haven't had to pick up a bottle and spray, Anthony.
Yeah, I know.
Literally just cleaning the glass with what's on here. I've even, just because I'm crazy, and I like to do this just to see if I can get the same effect with a dirty applicator, I actually took one of my leather applicators that I put leather protectant on, or leather sealant from Color Lock. That I've used to apply. I've let it sit for like a week or two, and I've picked one of those up.
Oh wow!
Soaked it in glass cleaner, and then cleaned the glass. And then the exact same thing, and I haven't had streaks or issues. And I don't know what changes from having a wet towel to a clean towel, but the streak-free shine is probably my favorite thing about all of this.
Oh yeah, because I mean, how many times do we read online like people hate glass? They go, "What's your most unfavorite part?"
Cross-contamination and all that stuff.
It's always cleaning glass. I can't get the streaks out of my glass. I don't ever have streaks using this method. I love it. That window's super dirty.
This right here. So like, you can see where you've cleaned and dressed, and you can see some of the splatter on the inside of this glass here. If somebody wants to get a camera, so our folks at home can see this.
You can definitely see it's super prominent.
Wow, so nice. I wish I should I wipe it off before the camera gets over here? Jimmy, can you see this dirtiness right here? Yeah. You can?
Yeah.
Okay. On the inside of the glass? All right. But you can see where it is, but here's the biggest thing. If you come around and look, this door panel's finished.
Yep.
It's done. I'm not having to spray glass cleaner on this finished door panel, which then maybe leaves a couple drops.
Which is it's a habit, right? It's one of those like it's what's that called when it just comes to you naturally? It's just like
it's the muscle memory
thing, right?
Yep.
And so you just spray the glass and you go, oh, I got a little bit where I dress the area, but this kind of prevents that. And it's very, very nice.
For me, I do every single car in the exact same method. So when I'm dressing the doors, I don't get worried about getting on the glass because I know the glass is my last thing. So I don't, like that's okay to me. And so I do it the same every single time, and I know that I'm going to get that. And then I know that I'm not going to remove the dressing because the product is on the applicator, which is so great.
For example, you can find all this on the Levi Gates standard operating procedure.
You
Tell you exactly how to do it in the steps.
For example,
I got a question.
Hold on, let's let Anthony finish.
Let me talk first. Dane, sorry.
Let me talk first.
I'm just messing with him. No, so I'm not a big fan of a lot of like just random tools. There's accessories for everything, right?
Yeah.
But the one accessory that we don't even sell is I love the invisible glass easy reach tool that they have for the inside of your windshield.
Yeah, I invented it back in 2003.
Levi invented that back in 2003.
Had ideas for it floating around in my head.
So anyway, it's really nice, but it's the same exact thing, except Now we're just using an applicator that's actually much cheaper than using the full.
And you can have
easy
several of
clean
them,
range.
right? Yeah, because I know when I first started detailing, I bought that tool, but it only comes with like 2 head replacements.
Correct. Yep.
And then
the
I
head
wasn't doing
replacements
laundry
are like $20-something,
and so
you're
then
like,
I
what the
stopped
heck?
using it, and that's, I mean, you've seen my garage, right? I have a whole drawer that's called interior and glass, and I have 10 glass applicators. I never run out, and so that's the great part is it is such an easy to have multiple tools, unlike that invisible glass, the little overheads were a little difficult to come by, and then they'd always get lost in the washer.
But yeah, you could totally do this with your invisible glass tool.
Yeah, you could.
Same process.
Or somebody could have bent a
easy.
handle that the applicator attached to. That would be nice.
Oh, you got a light here. Is that an interior detailing light installed just for you?
Yeah.
I don't know, it works
Did Joe
really
put
well,
that in?
though.
Joe put that in just for
Well, Joe put
Sid.
it in, but I find it very handy when I'm detailing.
Yeah.
It kind of lights up the whole back, and you can see.
What I like too, it's also one of those lights that zaps the mosquitoes.
Oh, mosquito lights.
It kind of looks like it, right? Bzz, zaps it all.
Oh, I was going to ask if you want me to climb in there, but you can.
No, I'll get in. You guys can watch me struggle. Do we get a camera on that? What's up, Jimmy?
The struggle.
Now, you know what would make this a lot easier to clean the windows, right? You know how this would make a lot. If it just didn't have the doors or the roof or anything on it.
Yeah.
Right?
Everything was off.
If everything was
this
off.
was all back at Joe's house.
Yeah. If anything, there would be no windows at that point. I'm like, well, exactly.
There'd be
Right?
one window, and that's all we
Every
needed.
time I detail a convertible, I think to myself, it would be a lot easier if all cars didn't have a roof.
Yeah.
My job would be a lot
Well,
easier.
I actually loved when we get convertibles in the shop. I loved it because of the fact. Put the top down, and you could see everything all the time, no problem.
So great.
It
so
worked
much easier.
So much better.
Yeah, I love detailing convertibles. Plus, they're generally pretty small.
Yeah, the two.
Okay.
Since
Since nobody's talking, I got a question.
Oh, sorry, Dane. I interrupted
For
you.
crying out loud.
You cut
I'm
you
not
off.
even asking for myself. It's not me interjecting. Literally, I have a mountain of questions that I was
Dane,
going to try and get to.
that a mountain, that's a little bit much.
Let's answer
Okay,
some.
so I think this
anthill.
one is pretty damn important.
Okay.
I've got Brian Kyle asking, will these be available on the TRC website? That's what I was going to do.
Well, what?
Is that on
What
Levi's SOP? I don't know. Levi.
What? What is going to be available?
He didn't
Like
hear
what
anything I said.
specifically?
What specifically is he asking?
All these products.
Brianna,
So I have several things that I've listed in the description of this video. However, I know that there are some that are not available on TRC right now.
Right.
What is your answer to that?
So yes and no. Some of this stuff is available right now. Some of it will be available in the future. You just have to be patient. Just patience.
And I'm going to have the P&S representative
Yes.
answer.
Yeah.
If you would like to have these products more readily available, just go ahead and email the rag company and ask them to make sure that they carry them.
For what I know,
Those emails go to us, though.
we're the ones that. So Anthony and I have already signed off on No Rub and Natural Finish.
No.
The other products we already carry. So No Rub and Natural Finish are making their way to TRC. They might be here already. We just haven't put them on the website yet.
You don't know that for sure,
We don't
Levi.
know, but I do know that we've put in a last order John did. He said that he had added Natural Finish to No Rub. I know that. As to when it's going to arrive, no idea. So we'll keep you posted.
Jeff's probably watching this, yelling at the screen.
I guarantee you, we've already talked about this.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Anthony, I just don't have the timeline right
and
now.
what's funny is that we used to sell that air gun a long time ago.
we
Back
did for
when
years. No
Yeah,
one
I
bought
bought
it.
that one here.
Nobody bought that.
we had, I think, like 5 in stock, right?
Yeah.
And in like the first 2 years I was here, we sold 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was probably to me.
It was to City, right?
I think the second one was a local guy.
And then we don't know what happened to the other 3.
I think we sent them back to Optimum.
Okay, but here's
Yeah.
a good testimonial though then, right? Because like I said, I probably bought it, 5 years ago or something, and it's $60. It's an expensive
Yeah,
air
it was
gun.
$60.
However, I've had it this long. It's been through many different dressings. I've never cleaned it. Like it has totally
It's
held up.
never
And
let you down.
Yeah, and it's worth every penny.
And I remember
So
prior
it is
to
an
you
expensive
buying
air
that,
gun.
I
Yeah.
remember talking her into buying
Yeah.
that. because of the fact that she had bought like 3 HVLP guns from Harbor Freight that kept breaking on her.
Yeah.
And I said, just buy this.
And they're
it's
just a
bulletproof.
mess. They're just a mess.
Yeah.
You know, you leave the dressing in there and it eats away at the ring at the bottom. It's a mess.
Yeah.
So,
Juan wants to talk about the glass thing in Spanish now.
Perfect.
Jimmy, flip around.
Did you have any other questions, Dane?
Bueno, pues
Sorry,
todos
I'm just gonna sit this one
escuchando
out.
En español les quiero enseñar que la única forma que estaba comentando ella era con un aplicador. El aplicador específicamente, como pueden ver, como pudieron ver ahorita en el video, lo estuvimos haciendo en todo el vehículo usando casi nada de producto, solamente aumentando el aplicador. El aplicador lo que está haciendo es la parte mecánica, que es agitar y limpiar la superficie, remover todo, digamos, como la saliva de los animales, manchas que están allí. Usualmente cuando usamos una toalla, nomás tenemos la toalla y la mano y estamos queriendo hacer fricción, que cuando está haciendo fricción con la esponja es mucho más fácil a remover la suciedad. En este caso, lo que yo recomiendo muchas veces, como dice ellos, aplicarlo, ponerlo y agarrar tu toalla, tu microfibra. Primero limpiar lo que es el cuadro, las esquinas, remover el producto, una vez así, y cuando nos vamos del otro lado, cuando nos vamos del otro lado, todavía tengo producto aquí, eso ya no lo voy a estar aplicando más, quiero agarrar otra vez lo mismo, de esta manera, pero ahora muchas veces queremos ver que muchas veces miramos que quedan manchas y andamos limpiando las manchas de los dos lados, es importante que cuando limpies, en esta ocasión, en vez de limpiar de este lado, limpiemos de este otro lado. ¿Para qué? Por si en dado caso llega a haber una mancha, sabemos de qué lado es. Si la mancha es de este lado, sabemos que es por interior. Si la mancha es de ese lado, sabemos que la mancha es de exterior. Como nos comentaba también Levi, una de las cosas que odia nuestro amigo Anthony es sprayar el vidrio, el parabrisas, y que el producto quede aquí ya cuando una vez que hayamos limpiado el interior. Con esta esponja, como decía Sydney, tenemos la parte que está seca y nomás estamos limpiando esta parte y ya no estamos aventando ni haciendo como un tipo overspray en el vidrio. Muy importante esa parte.
Do that again, Juan. That looks really good. Jimmy can get it on the other side.
Es muy importante. Como, a ver, déjame subir un poquito aquí. Papatoro. Ups, quito el vidrio. Muy importante, ya, limpias el vidrio, quizás. Y no dejas las manchas que usualmente tendrías con un vidrio que tiene muchos problemas. Esa es una de las cosas que muchas personas batallan con los parabrisas, que siempre hay manchas. Después de que los limpias adentro, sales para afuera y salen las manchas y dices tú, Dios mío, ¿cómo no lo puedo limpiar? Y empieza a aventar más producto y empiezas a ensuciar el producto o reactivar el producto que ya está aquí en el parabrisas y lo empiezas a recontaminar otra vez el vidrio. Pero ya sabes, la solución es una esponja.
Super simple, it's super easy, and it actually saves so much time.
Sí.
I've been, like I said, I've been having a blast doing this with the applicator sponge. It's saved me so much time when detailing.
Me encanta.
And it just looks so much better.
Yeah.
It's going to get
Literally
ducked.
foolproof.
So, Dane, what kind of questions we got? I know we got a bunch of them. I know we want to get through them.
Some of them are pretty old. I've been holding off because there's been a lot of fun banter in the comments. It's kind of like flooded through the other stuff.
Okay.
But I wanted to let you guys continue because you're doing kind of a presentation here. So Brian Cow clarified he was looking for Odyssey in particular.
Okay, so Odyssey
definitely
we
interested in that.
I don't have an answer for Odyssey just yet, but you can pick it up at the P&S website right now.
Yep.
Okay.
Just go to P&S Detail Products and grab them.
Then I had Hans here asking if View was alcohol based.
I'm not sure. Do you know that?
No idea.
Okay.
I think
now True
I don't
View
know.
specifically,
I'm not
not
gonna
Right,
View
right.
coating.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
True View.
Yeah,
the-
True View.
There's a difference there.
I don't know that answer
don't
off the
know
top of
for
my head.
sure, yeah.
It's a great one for the next time we have Dave on.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we got Josh asking, how are you going to reach the roof when you're coating?
Well, I use
Although-
that stool.
Use the
Yeah,
stool.
you got
Yeah.
that scaffold you got.
Works perfect.
Yep.
And that's why you buy 2 of them. You can literally put both of them there, and you can just walk across. You just step over.
Yep.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah.
For
And
the
Cynthia
truck,
wanted
like,
to say thank you for the time-saving tip
Yes,
back on the
of
windows
course.
there. And
going back
for the trucks that Dane had, I have a special tool, a tool that is actually like the sheetrock ones. They actually lift.
Oh, yeah.
They lift up to this high, sorry. Yep. So it's actually much easier for trucks like his.
Yeah.
That we get a lot in Idaho.
Now, I had this one from Jacob here asking, would you recommend Odyssey as just an exterior dressing, or can it be used on the interior as well?
I would only use it on the exterior. Okay. I think that probably you could maybe dilute it and use it on the interior, but for me, it's a really good exterior dressing. I feel like maybe the emulsion isn't quite right for the interior.
Okay.
So yeah, I've never used it on the interior. I think that natural finish, which we're going to talk about in just a second, is more, I like a more natural appearance. I don't like any shine at all, so it would be pretty shiny.
You want it to look new. You don't want it to look gaudy.
On the drier exterior plastics, it tends to absorb it more.
Okay.
And if the interior is not super, super dry, it's going to leave a little bit of a sheen, and I don't want that. So I do think it's probably a little bit greasy for the inside.
Well, and I think it just also depends on your shop and your clientele. If you're doing a lot of dealer work, and that's just what that dealership is like, hey, those interiors aren't dressed enough.
Right, yeah.
Well, then maybe look at changing out your dressing and doing something. Now, back in the old days, we used to use just an all-in-one that did interior, exterior. Sometimes we would do we had one for interior that was a lot like Odyssey, and then we had a tire dressing that was even more insane. It was just a blue gel. So it really just depends on what your area is. But for your customers, because you do 100% retail, it works perfectly to do that too.
And I'm not dealing with super like ratty interiors, for lack of a better word.
Really nice stuff.
I mean, so they're well maintained, and they're maintained by me. So, you know, I don't need that insane amount of hydration from a really greasy dressing. Now, I have seen the old Tahoes and stuff that come in that need that. And, you know, usually then I bump it up. I personally bump it up to like Shape Up, or I used to use Dynamic and stuff, but
or like work trucks that are just so much mud and dirt, and you cleaned it out, but you just can't get it back.
Right.
That's when you need to bring in a dressing like that, or even that no rub coating works really good for that kind of stuff.
So there's definitely nothing that says you can't.
Okay.
You know, try it out if it's.
So Hans, we said Sydney got up to 18 months on the glass, on the coating.
Yeah.
So
I would say safely a year, though. You know, bet on a year, because generally speaking, it's the customer taking care of the car, right? So it might be going through a car wash. If my car never, I mean.
It gets exposed to harsher elements in the hands of somebody who's not a detailer. Generally.
Joshua Kent, have you ever put a glass coating on your phone? Yes. My glasses are coated. My phones are coated. My computer screens are coated. I've done
or something.
And it does not interfere with the touch ability. So yes.
I've always coated that stuff.
Now, this was nice to see from Casey there.
Casey Tucker,
coating class taught by Sydney.
I'll be seeing you guys next week in Oregon.
That's awesome.
And
I can't wait. I've never been to Redmond before.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's gonna be cool.
Kind of unrelated to what we're doing, but poets want to know how you prefer to apply brake buster.
Yeah, so my favorite way used to be to use the IK sprayer. I have become more of a wimp in my older age, so now I just spray it on. I also have Brake Buster on tap now, which makes a big difference. Like I really like my 5-gallon tap. Yeah. So I just I love that. So I just spray it on. You can absolutely use it in an IK foamer. I do use it in the IK foamer when I mix it with Iron Buster. So the only IK foamer that I use now is just the Pro 12, right? Because it's so handy. But I keep mine mixed with Iron Buster in there. So that's just, you know, one of those crazy mixing chemicals that Dave has not.
I like the IK foamer because it just leaves you enough for the tire, because you can use it on the tire and let the tire swell, and it gives you enough time so you can work it and clean it a little bit better. So I do use it on the IK.
Anything else, Dane?
I'm going to go ahead and leave this off until you guys get to the next segment there. Then we'll kind of touch up on this after you guys have a chance.
All right.
So some more action.
We still got to finish the front windshield.
Yep, so we'll finish the glass.
This half, I need to do this.
And maybe while you guys finish the glass, I'm going to get the dressing soaking on the mats real quick.
Okay.
Because those, again, are going to totally self-absorb and self-level. So I'm just going to come back here and spray these real quick.
Okay, so if we want to get a camera on the mats.
Side note, Keith wrote in and said Triview is alcohol-based.
Perfect. Thank you, Keith.
Thank you, Keith.
All right, so am I with you?
Where's the
Perfect.
stove?
Okay, so we are going to dress these mats. They have been cleaned. I cleaned them with, I think I
didn't
cleaned
know
these
you
with
did this
Undressed
side.
at home.
Sorry.
So these are totally clean, but if you can see, again, just the super dryness from the dirt, all the moisture has been sucked out. So this is a really clean mat, but it doesn't look brand new anymore. So we are going to dress them with natural finish. Again, because this is going to totally absorb by itself, it's going to level out, it's not going to be greasy, slippery, anything like that. It is just going to rehydrate these mats and turn them back black. So I'm going to spray these and then we're going to set them off to the side and let it do its job on its own. So just a light mist, super easy, and then we're just going to set them down. So this is a really fast process. Again, I do this kind of at the beginning so that it has the entire time that I'm detailing to absorb. And then we can always go back over these with a towel if something did not absorb.
So the natural finish is actually going to soak into the...
It soaks into the rubber, yeah, which is really nice. And it does not leave them slippery or anything like that. They're just going to look brand
Which
new.
is the one thing that it's for insurance, for those guys that have insurance and the insurance guys don't, they're like, don't put any dressing on it because it's not.
It could be slippery, but this literally is not slippery. It's going to totally absorb in, just going to be black. And then, like I said, you can totally take a microfiber. I have never had one customer complain. I do this to my own personal mats every single time I clean them. So I know that it's not an issue. And the worst thing, if we saw those mats, the worst thing would be getting this car completely dialed in and then having to put those mats back in, right? It kind of ruins the whole detail because they look dirty.
And it does,
right?
in some cases it does, and sometimes you just can't. It's like, well, I mean, without that, you
so
just
this is just a super easy process.
Great, except the mats.
Yep. So we're going to let those sit and absorb the natural finish all on its own. So we will let that do its work, and then, so we've got the glass all clean.
Glass is done.
All right. So the next, has it been, it's probably been 45 minutes. We can probably throw that second coat of.
How long have we been on? Yeah, we've been on for more than 45 minutes.
So let's get our
we can
second coating of glass coating on.
Okay, I'll let you guys.
What I was thinking is, get my mic back on. Sorry. But what I was thinking is, while you guys are knocking out the second coat of that, could we start on Dreammaker on the exterior, on everything else?
We need to do the leather still.
Oh, leather, okay.
Dreammaker. That's why I opened all the doors so we can get on the leather.
Let air out. Okay.
Well, we could do that now.
What are we applying the leather treatment with?
We're going to do leather treatment.
Well, that's leather conditioner here and the black applicator.
So if you guys want to explain that, I'll just go ahead and put on the second coat. We don't really need to go over this again.
Okay.
But just kind of as a quick reminder, this is going to be the real layer, right? The first one was our base layer. This one, you're going to notice the feeling of it is different. You're going to notice the glass really holds on to this one. So we are going to just put that on.
Una vez que se aplica la primera capa del cerámico del vidrio, es necesario hacer la segunda capa, 45 minutes, you said?
45 minutes, yeah, 40 to 45.
En 40-45 minutos.
Yep. And then 30 minutes after that, we can do our bead maker. So,
y después de eso, unos 30 minutos, le ponemos lo que es el bead maker para poderle hacer el vidrio. So, la protección del vidrio, como dijimos, 2 capas y después, como los 30 minutos, bead maker. Para proteger lo que acabamos de proteger.
All right.
All right, a little leather treatment, Levi. Me and you.
Oh, yeah.
The Leather Brothers right here, getting after it.
Well, we're both fans of fine leather goods.
I am a huge fan of fine leather.
We're both big fans of raw leather.
Now, if this was raw leather, would we be using leather treatment?
No, we would not be. If this was a real aniline leather, we wouldn't be doing this. We're doing this because it's coated.
Yep.
It's coated leather, meaning that it's been painted. So it is painted this brown color, and then it has to have a clear coat. So this product is designed to help protect the clear coat. Think of it just like a paint sealant. That's what this is doing. It has the ability to penetrate some of this leather so that it can provide some a little more liquid hydration, I should say. That's the word I'm looking for. Yeah. Adds a little hydration to the leather. And this product is actually very thick. That's what a lot of people don't seem to realize is
a little goes a long way.
Yeah, a little bit goes a long way. And then once you let this sit, you can come back, knock it down with a microfiber towel, and remove that greasy feeling from it. But it's not a very greasy product.
It's not. It's honestly not greasy at all. Every time I've used it, I've always just kind of just knocked it down with a towel, just to reduce the shine, not necessarily because
bring the shine down.
The feel is bad. Because it feels great.
Most leather, when it's shiny, means it needs to be cleaned.
Yeah.
So those are the oils from your skin, lotions, things like that are in the leather. Sunscreen is a big one that a lot of people don't think about. And you want to get those out of the leather because you want the leather to go back down to its natural pH. So it actually goes higher, back up, because when it's dirty, it hits about a 5 on the pH scale. And so we want to bring it back up to about a 7 so that it stays neutral. That's how you get your leather to last longer, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm going to grab one of these FTWs here. We'll use that.
Have you knocked down that center console too? Because I think that'll turn out really nice.
Yeah, you can see that's pretty shiny there. But this has been on there. Normally what I would do is I'd go around, get all the seats conditioned, then I would come back and knock them all down.
Yeah, I usually let it sit about 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's a really good idea for cars, especially that maybe this is the first time they've ever been done.
Speaking of all the seats, I got Joshua Kent here asking why we aren't laying the seats back to cover more of the seat.
Well, because I've got Jimmy behind me and we're holding the camera.
we have camera people in the car. That's
it's a little bit of a clown car right now.
Yeah, so Anthony could probably lay that seat back to do that, but I had to lean mine forward so Jimmy could get a good shot.
Won't get in trouble for adjusting.
It's the strip right here. There you go.
Won't get in trouble for adjusting somebody's seat.
Now, for all those of you watching,
I don't like my seats messed with, man. If somebody adjusts my seat, I'm like, are you kidding me?
As long as there's stuff rolling in.
I don't even know where I like it.
Joe's gonna be really upset with you. He's gonna demand a T-shirt or something out of you.
Oh, is he?
I think so. He's not gonna be mad at Sydney because she had to drive the vehicle here, and that was a necessity. But you don't have a right to be able to move the seat.
Alright, and then since Jimmy's right there, what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull this back up here. And then I pass it over to Juan. Hold on.
I'm going to do this. Here you go.
Juan's coming back through.
I'm going to hit this side right here because this is very
You need
dry.
a little more, Juan? There you go.
I got it. Como podemos ver, podemos poner una aplicación un poco así, de esta manera. Podemos conectar cuando la empiezas a agarrar por primera vez, conectarlo primero.
Leather treatment's one of the artificial leather smells that actually weirdly smells like leather.
Yeah.
Does a pretty good job.
It does.
As a connoisseur of fine leather goods, right?
Yeah.
A leather wallet that I like to smell often. Ordered some more leather goods too, actually, Levi. I think you'll be excited.
I heard that.
I think you'll be excited to see those. But no, I'm just really picky about the way interiors smell, right? Especially when you start combining multiple products together, because you don't know what that end result's going to be. And Sid's told me too that there's certain products that might give people headaches, right? Or certain smells that some people may not like. And Sid's actually really picky about the smells as well.
I once had a customer that complained about the scent of one of my loaner cars. And my loaner car smelled like this.
Yeah.
And she said it gave her a headache. And I said, the car is clean and has no air fresheners, no fragrances, and everything was very normal. And she's like, I had to go home, and I felt bad for her. So I ended up having to knock money off her detail.
Dang.
Because of the way the loaner smelled.
Yeah.
Slide back. Yeah. Jimmy's getting down and dirty right here. Getting that crack.
Hey Anthony, can you see over there? Is the steering wheel column leather?
The
column itself, it is a plastic leather look.
Leatherette.
It's leatherette. Yeah. It's not real leather. It's just plastic that's got some stitches in it.
It's like my Camry.
It is like your Camry.
I'm not sure what drew his eye to it, but Mitchell was just asking here, so figured I'd throw that in there. Yes, Hans Closen, the vegan leather treatment is scented, as they were talking about. It's actually a pretty pleasant leather smell. It's not as intrusive
Cool, this
as
product's
some.
also great on like shoes and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Really good for
Absolutely.
Now, I had a question that was from a little earlier, but Ed Iverson jumped into the mix here, and he apologizes. He's a little late to the dance here, but he wanted to know how many coats of Odyssey should he apply if he were to use it himself?
Oh, just one.
Yeah, I didn't think you needed to go more than
that. Nope, it's a really, it's a nice solid product. You're not going to get the streaking or fading at all. You know, and I use it full strength, so I've never diluted it. I know you can dilute it, so I can only speak to it as far as full strength, but I've never had to do more than one coat for sure. You know, and like, so say in my shop, if I did this and I did everything with Odyssey, like I said, I always go back around at the end, and I don't really fill in with Odyssey. If I have like little spots that I missed or something, I just grab this, the no rub, and touch it up. So, you know, because once in a while, here's a good example, once in a while you'll have those wheels that, these ones, because I drove it here, right, all that water got spun out, but sometimes on wheels like these, it'll seep out the bottom and run down the tire, and then so at the end you have that like one drip, and I'll just go and touch it up with the no rub. Super easy. Gotcha. Or you can take your brush that has Odyssey on it too and kind of run back around. It's super easy, but on wheels like this, that happens a lot because they hold onto that water and it drips out over time.
Yeah, it can sneak out after a while.
Yeah.
Ed also followed up saying, I have a client who insists that I only use P&S leather treatment as it's his favorite scent for his leather seats.
That's awesome. Yeah.
I believe it.
I do love it. I mean, it is like a true leather scent. It's not that kind of fake leathery.
You get that really artificial, just, it kind of burns the nostrils, kind of. Yeah.
Nope, it smells
This is
good.
not that.
Yep, it smells good.
So,
that's awesome.
This, I don't know if you can see that staining on here. Yeah. So what this is, for those of you wondering, this is just over wet product. So during the cleaning process, this just got a little too wet. This dries out, and this color actually goes back to the normal. So if you're a detailer, you're working on a car, you see this, don't freak out. This is only because it's too wet. And that's just from cleaning and getting liquid back here, and then it's just been stuck. So this dries out. So don't ever freak out, especially if you're a newbie detailer and it's the first time you've ever seen it. Don't worry about it. Leather's very durable, and these coatings are very durable. I used to see this when we do Mercedes.
Yeah.
So the black Mercedes leather,
and the leather's trapped.
would do that, and it would freak out on it, and you're like, did we just ruin a car?
Yep.
And it's like, no, we're good. Just pull it out in the sun if you got sun, or throw a heat gun. You can heat gun this area and just warm it up, and it dries out. No problem. Or just leave it down like this, and the normal air temperature will bring it back. So, Juan, do you want that for the back of that those headrests?
Indeed, sir. Vamos a darle la última aplicación en lo que es el respaldo. Vamos a remover este cinturón de seguridad. Aplicarlo.
I learned that from
so nice. Yeah. Yep.
So, como él comentaba de la mancha que está allí, una vez que aplicas el producto, no te saques de onda, como decimos en México, no te saques de onda cuando mires que el tono del color se cambia. Lo único que tienes que hacer es sacarlo al sol o calentarlo con una heat gun y dejar que el producto, la piel se restaure sola. So, el color se va a regresar, no hay problema, no hiciste nada malo, simplemente es algo que pasa con una reacción cuando tiene agua o un producto que se manchó, ¿ok? No te saques de onda, como decimos en México. A ver, ¿alguien me puede pasar la toalla? Can somebody pass me the microfiber so I can clean the back?
Oh, sorry, Juan. You can have that one, yeah.
So, como pueden ver, son formas de hacer un mantenimiento de limpieza al vehículo de interior y exterior con productos que puedes adquirir aquí en Rubicon Company y algunos que vas a adquirir muy pronto, próximamente. So, esperemos que sea así, ¿verdad? Pero muchos son de P&S, así es que ya sabes. Pásalo por ahí. Ahora me voy a
wrapped that up.
Aquí estoy.
Sydney, I got a question here from Alex Dwyer trying to blow up Joe's spot. He seems to have been doing that quite a few times here, but let me look back at his comment. He wanted to know, when you were detailing the Jeep here, how many in and out or Five Guy wrappers did you find?
I actually did not find any.
Oh, wow.
I did not find any. Joe is a star client, and he does not leave any trash.
Okay, Alex, see, you're trying to throw the guy under the bus.
Here's one of the great
Full
things.
recovery, look at that.
Alex is coming for TRCMA.
Oh, cool.
So, Joe, you can take him to your favorite Five Guys if you like, and the two of you can enjoy a delicious Five Guys lunch.
Also, Alex wanted to know how you were liking your Swiss Tracks upgrade.
Oh, I love my Swiss Tracks. Yeah, super awesome. It is pretty trashed right now because the winters here are so crazy. We had a lot of snow this year, so there is a lot of foreign material underneath it right now.
Sure, yes.
But the nice thing is it's going to pop out really easy, and so as soon as it's above 50 degrees, then I can just rinse it out, clean it.
Do you usually pull it up and get under it, or do you try and
well,
do
the other
compressed
one
air?
I couldn't. Well, so I vacuum it every day, but there's a lot where because I wash inside and I use the power washer inside,
moisture
there's a
collects.
lot of dirt and debris stuck down there that the vacuum won't reach. So they make a tool that pops them out, and then I can just blow it and rinse it out. Whereas my other one, I couldn't do that. But in the Swiss Tracks, you can take out like big 4x4 sections and just remove them and then get rid of all that debris. Nice. So it should be pretty easy. So I'm looking forward to doing that because they're really dirty. So I will start off by I'll foam the whole foam cannon. It's my favorite part of cleaning my garage is I just take the foam cannon and literally foam my whole floor and then start the rinsing process. So yeah, it should be, I don't think there's anything living under there like there was last time. So we should be good. Yeah, poor Glenn, she got to experience
no monsters hiding in the under the bed.
Yeah.
Under the mat.
Under the mat in this case.
There was all sorts of stuff living under there. It was awful. But yes, love the Swiss Tracks. Love it.
All right, now we can cut back to what these guys are doing here in the door frames.
Yeah.
Down on the kick plates. Yeah, looks
So
like they're
Levi's
done
using
anyway.
the cheat mode, right?
Yeah, that's how
My
you do it.
favorite. So these little steps, again, are plastic. They dry out, they turn brown. They look like they're dirty, but they're not.
Yeah, all the dirt's out of them. It's just that's what happens.
Yep. So you just go over them with the no rub and it settles itself. You don't have to go back over, turns everything black. Perfect.
Sweet. So all that's left is really
Awesome.
Dream Maker.
Yeah, Dream Maker.
Wiping the whole thing down.
I'm going to knock some of this Odyssey off these tires. And then, we'll Dream Maker and we're going to be...
So I got some pink FTWs here.
Sydney, got a question for you here from Robert.
Okay.
Says, hello TRC, just placed an order, can't wait for it to arrive. That's a great treatment for cloth interiors. Sydney can just spray the dressing for the floor mats and leave it? Sounds like two different questions.
So treatment for the cloth interior. So two things. Brand new car. So we don't need to clean them. So the treatment would be then the Inspiration fabric coating, which is really easy to apply. You want to watch the videos on the application process for that. But within the Inspiration line, we have a fabric coating, and it's just a spray on. So generally what I do is I spray it on, I have gloved hands, kind of work it in, go back over with a second coating about 40 minutes later, let that one totally self-level. The only kind of real thing about the fabric coating is you want to make sure you wipe it off all the surrounding areas because you will get overspray. So you want to make sure to wipe that off because otherwise it will cure and you'll have like little shiny spots on your vinyl and plastics. So you want to wipe off any surrounding areas, and then it has to dry for 24 hours before use. So that one's kind of the tough one, is it has to dry for 24 hours, and you would never apply this to anything that had just been cleaned. So in a typical detail, if you're cleaning the interior, you need to wait for it to totally dry. So you're talking like 24 hours after you were to use the cleaning process. Has to be totally dry. Then the Inspiration, you don't want to sit on it or walk on it, step on it for 24 hours. The other thing with this is if you can, because it is a coating, it does have kind of that chemical smell, that if you can leave the doors of the vehicle open after you've applied it, then you won't have any issues later. So usually I put the treatment on, leave the doors open, make sure you've turned off all the interior lighting, and just let it air out. And really, if you only could leave them open for 2 or 3 hours, that would be a huge benefit. You don't need to leave it open for 24 hours. But what you don't want to do is apply it to the fabric and then close the doors.
You're going
to have some smells that linger for a while. So just leave the doors open for a couple hours. It's a really great product. I love it. I love it on the floor mats, the seats, and then I use it a lot on backpacks and shoes and things like that. So it's an awesome product. And then can the spray dressing for the floor mats, I think he means can you just spray the floor mats and leave it? And yes. So we sprayed those with the natural finish, and I'll hold them up here in just a few minutes, and you'll see that it really just absorbed it all by itself. Drier floor mats will just totally absorb it and they'll be good to go. If it's a customer that comes in every couple months and we're reapplying it, sometimes I'll have to just do a quick wipe. And I usually do that when I put it in the vehicle. I put them in, install them, and then just do a quick wipe to make sure that they're not slippery at all. But generally speaking, they're ready to go on their own. So
generally, how long would you say it lasts on its own if it's not tracked on too much?
The natural finish, it'll keep them black for several weeks to months. They start to get once there's been a lot of dirt, and these were last done in December, so it hasn't really been that long, but it's also been the worst part of our winter. So all sorts of snow and the salt from the roads and
that's
things
still
like that.
a few months right there through all that stuff.
But during the summer, when I dress mine, they'll look, nice and crisp and black for the whole summer. So
nice.
Yeah.
Joshua here. I have had a question for weeks now, but every time you go live, I completely forget. Maybe next time. Well, Joshua, we hope you can remember at some point here.
That's funny.
But Michael here, Michael Gianni saying, P&S is my product of choice, and coincidentally, I have a Rubicon I'm detailing next week. So I'm soaking in as many tips as I can. What's the best product to use on the top?
So the top, I just wash it like normal, and then bead maker. So you can certainly put ceramic coating on them, which I highly recommend because they do kind of take a beating. But otherwise, if you're just doing a sealant, I mean, bead maker goes on great and holds up really well. So just bead maker.
Yeah. And then Robert just says thank you. All right, we can get back to what these guys are doing. I just wanted to go through.
All right, so are we doing Dream Maker over here?
I got most of it almost done. Just the front clip needs it.
Awesome.
That's really it.
Towel. So this Jeep does have a ceramic coating on it. It's probably getting close to needing to be done again, but so the Dream Maker we are just putting on kind of as our final touch spray, which I think for me has been my favorite part of Dream Maker. Is we originally developed Dream Maker kind of as a show car spray, but I, as a detailer in a shop, am really loving it as my final delivery spray because it gives that pop. It makes my shop smell great, but it gives it that really nice pop for the customer, and so it's surprisingly become my favorite just final touch spray. So I use it every detail. When quite honestly, when the product was being developed, I really wasn't anticipating that.
And a lot of detailers were asking that same question. Well, what do I use it for? How do I make it work? How does this do?
Yeah.
And for me, that was one of my reasons for that was that it could be used as a final delivery spray. Because what I used to do is I cheat the system. I literally would take a car, park it right where the sun was at, so it would shine on the car. I would, on a wash, all I would do is dress the tires, and I would hit it with usually a quick detail spray. And 90% of the time people will go, oh my gosh, you waxed it. I go, no, I just washed it. And they go, well, how come my car never looks like that when I wash it? Well, they weren't using something as simple as that. This product amplifies gloss. It's its only job. And it only needs to do it for a little while. It does provide some protection. We like saying at least until the next wash. But it lasts far longer than that in many cases. So
I just wanted to show how easy this
so go ahead.
Off. So I'm just going to show how easy that the overspray wipes off, that it's really not a big deal. It does not stay on there, it doesn't stay greasy, anything like that. It just, and even with Dream Maker, which has no cleaning ability of its own, it wipes right off and is no problem. So super easy cleanup. We saw there was quite a bit that was laid down on this fender, and that just wipes off like normal. So really, when I'm going around for my final touch, I'm not even stressed out by that overspray or anything.
And I think that's the biggest thing that a lot of people they get worried about. When I was a detailer, we never wiped a car down with just a quick detailer or a final step product. That was years ago. That just wasn't the way you would do things. Reasons being, we didn't have a lot of products that you could do that with. You would have a product that maybe stripped the wax all of a sudden, or a quick detailer, or a showroom spray that they would give you, and all of a sudden wipe all the wax off that you did, and you're like, so we never really did that, and it wasn't until more and more quick detailers came onto the market that you were able to start doing things like this. And having a product like Dream Maker that doesn't have a cleaning ability, meaning it's not going to strip any of the agents that are on there, but it is going to enhance the protective qualities that you just finished putting on the vehicle, really set it apart. And that's one of the reasons that we like it so much. Plus, you can sell it to your customers, and customers can use it.
And they can't damage anything, right?
I do have an account with a company named Hertz, the dealership, and obviously dealership, work. You don't do a lot of correction, sealing. They just want something quick, nice, and that looks nice. So when I started using this Dream Maker, I started applying it to the vehicles that I was doing for the dealership.
Yeah.
And hoping they will notice.
Yeah.
Like I noticed it, because
Right.
I noticed it. And he's like, "Hey, what are you applying to the vehicles? I mean, they look glossier.
Yeah.
What have you done to these vehicles? They look much better. It looks like, because I already done a coating for his vehicle.
Yeah.
He said, it looks like you applying coating to these vehicles. What are you applying?
Yeah. To just the rental cars.
I was like, it's just remaker. No, it's not the rental part. It's actually
the sales version. Okay.
The dealership. Which they come from the rental cars,
Yeah.
which they get a lot of scratches, and we remove the scratches and everything. And then we just put something like we were applying like a bead maker or something like that, or bead maker. But when we apply Dream Maker, I noticed that it was actually much glossier. So I actually seen the potential benefit for them, to apply. So they noticed it.
Yeah, that's good.
I was happy that they noticed it, because I noticed. I was like, I wonder if somebody else noticed it. So they're right away. They say, yes, this product is. Yeah, keep applying that product, and the cost is it's not much. It's really makes makes
Well,
you.
Pepsi makes
the mango Pepsi.
Yeah, and it does
zero sugar mango Pepsi.
It gives you the feeling of bead maker.
Yes,
right?
we call it bead maker Pepsi.
Yes.
And then the other one that we like is the Mountain Dew Energy Peach Mango Dawn.
Oh, yeah.
That we call bead maker in a can.
Spiritually, they're like right in that room.
Yeah.
Those two products, Pepsi Mango, so you can get it in the zero sugar, that's why we like it, or Mountain Dew Rise Peach Mango Dawn. So try either of those if you need a bead maker fix for drinking it. Don't drink actual bead maker though. All right, Joshua, Ken, did you see the new retractable pressure washer hose? I know Anthony was looking for one. It's 100 feet by Giraffe Tools for $300. Wow, nice. Did not know that. Cool. Thank you, Joshua.
No Anthony there to comment on that one.
Alex Duar, if God mode for bead maker is in the IK, bead maker with his sprayer would be what? Zeus mode? No, you can't go any higher than God mode because of the fact that you're already mentioning Zeus like a god.
He's a Greek god, so.
Now, we have created what we like to call Valhalla mode.
Oh.
With an
We're
IK.
going to the afterlife now.
Just so you know. So, just keep your eyes peeled for that. We've been calling it Valhalla mode.
There's a Kyle mode, but we'll save that for you.
I don't know what Kyle mode is.
Later.
Han says, I always dress tires right after drying the paint. Like Sydney said, it gives it time to bond and dry out the tire. Correct.
Yep.
And then does it get in the tight triangle corners with the applicator? Yes, you can do that, Hans. That's one of the benefits of that. And then JV, does dynamic dressing have a UV protection in it? If not, which product would you recommend with similar functionality but with UV protection? So dynamic does have that. Natural Finish has some UV inhibitors in it. Most of your interior dressings are developed with that. Same with the exterior dressings too. They actually have to have that's part of the makeup of that product.
Fair. So. And Joshua just putting here, thanks.
Dane, you should watch the van
my
in the next Wash Wednesday.
Yeah. I still have to get that adhesive off the side.
It's not
going to be pretty.
It's not even the adhesive. There's a ton of oil all over the back of that van from our recent trip to the sand dunes.
Yeah, so. I'm installing an oil to automatic transmission cooler there, so we'll have fun with that.
But anyway, blowout in the back.
That's neither here nor there. That's pretty much it.
All right.
Cool.
Calm day, but you know what? That's all right. So, round out, are there any last notes, things you want to throw at people who may have watched this and missed out on a few key details?
Yeah, the only other detail that that we're going to do in just a little bit will be putting bead maker on the windshield to protect the coating while it cures. So we're going to do that. We're going to clean the blades of the windshield wipers and then kind of just do like another quick double check. But thank you guys so much for helping me.
Of course.
This was super fun. I thought it would be fun to bring Joe's Jeep down and
this works.
Make sure you follow his page. It's the Pumpkin Diesel on Instagram, and he goes on lots of fun adventures and.
It's not a mall crawler. It actually goes off.
There's scratches on those.
There are real scratches.
Those are real, probably.
As nice
being
as
stuck
it looks
in a ravine
from,
somewhere.
And on the blocks, there's some scratches on those too. So it's smashed some rocks.
For real.
Yep. And thank you to Joe for letting me bring it down here and do this. That was great.
Joe.
Yeah, super fun. So thanks everybody, and it's been a lot of fun.
It has. All right, guys.
There you go. Take us home, Dane.
You know the deal. You watch this. You know how it goes. Make sure you're subscribed to the Rag Company YouTube channel. If you haven't done it already, please do so. Go click that button. Make sure it says subscribed. not just subscribe. Also, if you wouldn't mind following these fine folks on Instagram, I know that Sydney's there. I know that Juan's there. If you want to shout out your tags, people can follow you there.
Yeah, mine's just iWash Auto Detailing. And then, of course, make sure you follow P&S on Instagram, Facebook. We have a super funny TikTok.
Yep.
So
listen to Beadmaker and Coffee.
Yeah, Beadmaker and Coffee. We have every other Monday. So yeah.
Excellent. How about you, Juan?
All Season Detail on Instagram and on TikTok, All Season Detail. And follow us on YouTube, The Rag Company Español.
There you go.
Nice. Yeah, Rodolfo there. All right, so rounding things out. Thank you so much, guys. We will catch you next time. But
we'll
for
see you
now,
tomorrow.
it's tomorrow on the Q&A Thursday right here at the Rag Company YouTube channel. So
Awesome.
Don't miss it. We'll catch up with you tomorrow afternoon. Have a great evening. We'll see you then.
I love it.